My name is Sarah. I'm 34 years old. And until last Thursday night, I genuinely believed I was in a stable, adult relationship built on trust. I'd been with Marcus Hale for 3 years. We'd lived together for the last 18 months. Shared groceries, shared bills, shared a rhythm that felt safe, predictable, real. Marcus was charming in a way that didn't feel performative. He worked in event logistics, long hours, late nights, weekends that vanished without warning. I trusted that. Why wouldn't I? That kind of job came with chaos built in. And more importantly, I trusted him. Or at least I thought I did. Looking back now, I can see the signs. The kind you don't recognize as warnings until they've already detonated. His phone always face down. Work emergencies that required him to leave immediately. Coming home smelling faintly like a woman's perfume that wasn't mine. Every time I asked, he had an explanation ready. A coworker hugged him. A crowded venue. Someone spilled a drink. Reasonable, plausible, just believable enough that I swallowed my discomfort and told myself I was being dramatic. The real shift started about 6 weeks before everything blew up. Marcus became distant. Not cruel, not cold, just elsewhere. His attention lived in his phone now. We'd sit on the couch watching TV, and he'd be typing, smiling at messages I couldn't see. When I asked who he was talking to, he'd say coworkers, old friends, his ex-girlfriend from college, but totally platonic now. I accepted that too, because I wanted to. Then there were the changes, the gym memberships, the new clothes, haircuts that took longer than usual. At first, I told myself he was just taking better care of himself. I even encouraged it. But then I noticed something strange. He never wore the new clothes around me. They stayed pressed and untouched in the closet, reserved for work dinners and networking events. Thursday night was when everything snapped into focus. He left around 8 p.m., claiming he had dinner with potential clients. He wore a charcoal jacket I'd never seen before, shoes polished within an inch of their life. He stood in the mirror longer than usual, adjusting his collar. I kissed him at the door. "Don't wait up," he said. "These things always run late." "How late?" I asked. "Midnight, maybe later. I'll text." He smiled, but something in his eyes slid away from mine. I spent the evening working, reheated leftovers, half-watched a documentary I didn't care about. Around 11 p.m., I texted him. "How's it going?" No response. Midnight passed, then 12:30, then 1 a.m. I called twice, straight to voicemail. By 1:30, I crawled into bed, telling myself his phone had died, that I was spiraling, that trust meant letting go. I stared at the ceiling anyway. Every car outside made my heart jump. The call came at 2:47 a.m. I know because I checked the time before answering, hopeful, stupidly hopeful, thinking he was finally calling to say he was on his way home. "Sarah," he said, breathless, "I need money right now." My body jolted upright. "What? Are you okay?" "My Uber account is locked. Some payment issue. I need $300 for a cab." $300. "Where are you?" "That doesn't matter. Just send it." "It does matter," I said. "That's not a normal cab fare." "I'm far. Please, just send it." Something twisted hard in my stomach. "How did you get there if your Uber wasn't working?" A pause. "Someone dropped me off." Silence stretched between us, thick and sharp. "Who dropped you off?" "Oh my God, Sarah, does it matter? I need help." And in that moment, the fog lifted. "Ask the woman you went out with." The line went dead quiet. "What?" he whispered. "You heard me," I said calmly. "Ask whoever you were actually with tonight." "I was at a work dinner," he snapped. "You're being paranoid." "And you're lying," I said. "Figure it out yourself." "You're seriously going to leave me stranded?" "You're not stranded. You're not alone. Get her to drive you." He started to say my name again, angry now, but I hung up, put my phone on silent, rolled over, and for the first time in weeks, I slept. I woke up to sunlight cutting across the bedroom wall and a strange, unfamiliar quiet. For a second, I forgot everything. Then my phone buzzed. 17 missed calls from Marcus, 23 text messages. I didn't read them right away. I didn't need to. I could already imagine the arc. Anger, panic, pleading, guilt. I'd seen that pattern before, just never aimed at me. What caught my eye was the voicemail notification. Unknown number, 4:18 a.m. My chest tightened as I pressed play. "Hi, this is really awkward," a woman's voice said. She sounded tired, nervous, not drunk. "But Marcus gave me your number. I'm outside your apartment building with him right now. He's pretty out of it. I just wanted to make sure he actually lives here before I leave." I sat straight up in bed. "He said apartment 4C, she continued. "Can you confirm that's right? I don't feel comfortable leaving him if this isn't actually his place. Please call me back." The message ended. For a long moment, I just stared at my phone, my pulse roaring in my ears. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't insecurity. This was real. I called the number back immediately. She answered on the first ring. Hello? This is Sarah, I said. You called about my boyfriend. Oh, thank God, she exhaled. Yes, I got him inside about an hour ago. He used my phone to call you a bunch of times, but you didn't answer. I had my phone on silent, I said. Who are you? She hesitated, and I could hear discomfort settle into her voice. I think there's been a misunderstanding. My stomach dropped. I met Marcus on a dating app, she said carefully. About 3 weeks ago. We've been texting. We went out once last week. Tonight was supposed to be our second date. The room tilted. He told you he was single, I said. Yes, completely. Said he lived alone. I closed my eyes. She kept talking, words spilling faster now. We had dinner, a couple drinks. Everything felt normal. Then around midnight, he wanted to go to a bar across town. He'd already had a lot to drink, so I drove. What happened then? He started saying things that didn't add up. Mentioned living with someone, then said he meant a roommate. Then forgot he'd said that and mentioned you again. I started asking questions and he got defensive. Said things were complicated. I could picture it too clearly. His tone. The way he dodged accountability. That's when I realized he probably wasn't actually single. She continued. I told him I'd take him home, but that I wasn't interested in seeing him again if he was in a relationship. He got upset. Tried to order an Uber. That's when he said his account was locked. My jaw tightened. He called you screaming for money, she said quietly. When you hung up, he said you were controlling, that you never helped him. A bitter laugh escaped me before I could stop it. I drove him here anyway, she said. I wasn't going to leave him stranded. He passed out in the car on the way, woke up just long enough to give me the address and apartment number. And you wanted to make sure this was actually his place, I said. Yes, I didn't want to dump him somewhere random. It is, I said. We live together, have for over a year. Silence stretched between us. I'm so sorry, she said finally. I had no idea. If I'd known, I never would have gone out with him. I believe you, I said. And I did. For what it's worth, she added gently, you sound like a good person. You didn't deserve this. Neither did she. We hung up, and I sat there on the edge of the bed, phone limp in my hand, letting the truth sink in. He hadn't slipped. He hadn't made a single bad choice. He'd built an entire parallel life. I got dressed, made coffee I barely tasted, walked into the living room. Marcus was sprawled on the couch, still wearing the jacket from last night. His shoes were kicked off unevenly. One sock halfway on, the other missing. His phone lay dead on the coffee table beside a glass of water, someone else's kindness. I stared at him, asleep and oblivious, and felt something inside me go very still. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I opened my laptop instead. Logged into our shared cloud account, the one we used for photos and backups, and started scrolling. Outfits I'd never seen him wear around me, restaurants we'd never been to together, selfies captioned, living my best life and new beginnings that now felt like messages meant for someone else. 3 weeks, according to her, but deep down I knew better. This wasn't the beginning. It was just the part I'd finally caught. Marcus woke up around 9, not all at once. First a groan, then a slow roll onto his side, one hand clutching his head like it might split open. He squinted at the room as if it didn't quite belong to him anymore. Water, he croaked. I didn't move. There's some in the kitchen, I said, my voice calm in a way that surprised even me. He pushed himself upright, staggered toward the counter, refilled the glass, and drank like someone who'd been pulled back from the dead. I feel like hell, he muttered. That tends to happen, I said, when you get drunk on a date with someone from a dating app. He froze. The glass hovered halfway to his mouth as he turned slowly toward me. What? The woman you went out with, I continued. She called me. Color drained from his face so fast it was almost impressive. I can explain, he said immediately. I'm sure you can, I replied. I'm just not interested in hearing it. It's not what you think. You told her you were single, I said. You told her you lived alone. She drove you home at 3 a.m. because you were too drunk to function and your Uber account was locked. Which part am I misunderstanding? His mouth opened, closed. Then his eyes filled with tears. It was just one date, he said. It didn't mean anything. She said this was your second, I corrected. Last week was the first. That was just coffee, he insisted. It wasn't serious. You went on 2 dates with someone while living with me, I said. You lied to her. You lied to me. That's not serious. He sank onto the couch, rubbing his face. I was curious, he whispered. I just wanted to see what else was out there. While still living here, I said. Still sleeping in my bed. Still pretending everything was fine. Silence pressed in on us. I was going to tell you, he said finally. When? I asked. After date 3? 4? When exactly were you planning to mention you were shopping for my replacement? He broke then, shoulders shaking, sobs racking his body. I'm sorry, he cried. I made a mistake. No, I said quietly. You made a series of choices. I stood up, every movement deliberate. You downloaded a dating app. You created a profile. You swiped. You matched. You texted her for weeks. You went on a date. Then you did it again. Those aren't mistakes. Those are decisions. He looked up at me, eyes red and desperate. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to pack your things, I replied. You have until tonight. His head snapped up. You're kicking me out? The lease is in my name, I said. You're not on it. You've got 8 hours to figure out where you're going. That's cruel, he whispered. What's cruel, I said, is cheating on someone and then calling them controlling when they won't send you money at 2:47 in the morning. He tried another tactic then. Scooted closer, voice softer. Please, Sarah, can we just talk? I know I messed up, but we can work through this. There's nothing to work through, I said. You didn't trip and fall into someone else's inbox. You built a whole separate life. I didn't sleep with her, he blurted. That's not the bar, I replied. You broke trust. That's enough. I grabbed my keys. I'm giving you the day, I said. Use it. I spent the next several hours in a coffee shop working remotely, replaying every memory I'd ignored. Every time my phone buzzed, I didn't look. At 2, he texted. Can we talk? I don't have anywhere to go. I replied once. You have 4 hours. At 6, another message came. Fine, I'll be gone by 8. I went home at 8:30. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. His things were gone. The bathroom shelf bare, half the closet empty, his favorite mug missing from the kitchen cabinet. On the counter sat a folded note. I'm sorry, I know I messed up. If you change your mind, call me. I didn't. I threw it away. The next 3 days were eerily peaceful. No tension humming in the walls. No phone lighting up every 5 minutes. No waiting for someone who might or might not come home. I rearranged the furniture, moved the couch, opened windows that had stayed closed for months. The apartment felt like it could finally breathe again, like it belonged to me. Saturday morning, my phone rang. It was Marcus's mother. I stared at the screen for a long moment before answering. Sarah, she said, voice tight. What happened? Marcus showed up here in tears. He said you kicked him out. He cheated on me, I said evenly. So I ended the relationship. There was a pause. He told me it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't, I replied. He went on multiple dates with a woman he met on a dating app while living with me. He told her he was single. When he got too drunk and needed a ride home, she called me to confirm our address. Silence. She didn't mention that, his mother said quietly. I assumed she wouldn't, I said. Another pause, longer this time. I'm sorry, she finally said. That's inexcusable. I appreciate you saying that, I replied. What are you going to do now? I already am, I said. Moving on. We hung up. 10 minutes later, Marcus texted. You told my mom everything. She asked, I replied. I told the truth. Now she's mad at me. That's not my problem. You're really not giving me another chance? No. After 3 years, that's it? You threw away 3 years when you downloaded that app. I just found out later. He didn't respond. Later that day, his friends started reaching out. One text, then another, then a call. You're being really harsh, one of them said. Everyone makes mistakes. This wasn't a mistake, I replied. It was a pattern. 3 years should count for something. It did, I said. That's why I didn't ignore it. Another friend was more aggressive. You're really going to throw away 3 years over one night? It wasn't one night, I said calmly. It was weeks of lying, weeks of building a backup plan while pretending everything was fine. She's devastated, the friend shot back. She should have thought about that before she started swiping, I said. The line went dead. It didn't shake me. What shook me was how easily people minimized what he'd done, how quickly they tried to rewrite it as something smaller, softer, forgivable. By Monday, the messages stopped, and for the first time in a long time, I felt grounded. Then, Tuesday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a name I didn't expect. The woman from the dating app. Hey, Sarah, I hope this isn't weird. I just wanted to check in. How are you holding up? I stared at the screen before responding. Honestly, better than I thought. Thanks for asking. I'm really glad to hear that, she replied. I feel awful about the whole thing. If I'd known, I never would have gone out with him. I believe you, I typed. You handled it with more integrity than he did. There was a pause. He texted me yesterday, she added. Said he's single now and wants another chance. My jaw tightened. What did you say? I asked. I blocked him, she replied. I'm not interested in dating someone who lies that easily. I exhaled slowly. Smart move, I typed. If you ever want to grab coffee and vent, purely platonic, let me know, she added. I smiled despite myself. Maybe I will. That Friday, we did. We sat in a quiet bar, swapping stories about modern dating, about red flags ignored and lessons learned. There was no bitterness between us, just a strange sense of clarity. She told me more about that night, how Marcus had expected me to send the money without hesitation. I knew something was off when you hung up on him, she said. His reaction was intense. That's because I usually did, I admitted. That was the first time I'd ever said no. Good for you, she said. Sometimes people need consequences. I nodded. And for the first time, I truly believed that walking away had been the right choice. A month later, I ran into Marcus by accident. It was a Tuesday afternoon at the grocery store, the kind of ordinary moment that lulls you into thinking nothing important can happen. I was comparing cereal prices when I heard my name. Sarah. I turned. He was standing there with a woman I didn't recognize, her hand loosely threaded through his. They'd been laughing until he saw me. The color drained from his face. Hey, he said awkwardly. Hey, I replied, calm, detached. He stumbled, then recovered. This is my girlfriend. The woman smiled politely, then frowned. I thought you said your ex was out of town, she said slowly. Marcus stiffened. She was. I met the woman's eyes. I'm Sarah, I said. Nice to meet you. Confusion flickered across her face. Good luck, I added, turning back to my cart. He has an active dating app profile and a habit of calling people controlling when they don't send him money at 3 a.m. Marcus's face flushed red. That's not fair, he snapped. Neither is cheating, I said quietly. But here we are. I walked away, hearing his voice trail after me. Hurried, defensive, unraveling. I didn't stay to listen. A week later, a mutual friend told me the woman had dumped him that same night. Apparently, she'd done some digging. Found out he had a habit of overlapping relationships. A pattern. I felt a twinge of sympathy for her. Mostly I felt relieved. The same friend mentioned Marcus had been telling people I was emotionally abusive, that I was controlling, that I'd driven him to look elsewhere. I laughed when I heard that. Let him tell whatever story he needed to sleep at night. 4 months have passed now. Life is good. Genuinely good. The apartment feels like mine again. I've been dating casually. Nothing serious. Just meeting people without the weight of betrayal hanging over every conversation. The woman from the dating app and I became friends. Real ones. She introduced me to her circle. Trivia nights, weekend hikes, easy laughter. Funny how something so ugly can lead you to people who feel honest. I heard through mutual friends that Marcus has burned through 3 relationships since we broke up. Same pattern, same excuses, different women. I'm just glad I found out when I did. Not years later. Not after marriage. Not after tying my life even more tightly to someone who saw honesty as optional. Someone asked me recently if I regretted how I handled that night. Specifically, hanging up on him, not sending the money. Not even a little. Some people call it harsh. Those people weren't being lied to, manipulated, treated like a safety net while someone shopped for an upgrade. Marcus made his choices. I made mine. I chose self-respect. That night, at 2:47 a.m., something in me finally clicked. I was done being the backup plan for someone who was actively looking to replace me. You can't love someone into being honest. You can't compromise your way into trust. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away. My lease is up in 2 months. I'm thinking about a new place, a fresh start, somewhere with no echoes of who I used to be with him. No ghosts. Just me, moving forward, lighter, clearer, stronger.